What is up, guys? Delboy here. After what seems like an eternity, somebody has finally accepted a shot at Artur Beterbiev's IBF light heavyweight title. And that man is Callum Johnson. He is based out of the UK. He is 32 years old. And he has a record of 17 wins, 0 defeats, 0 draws. 12 of those 17 wins coming by way of stoppage. He also has a relatively decent amateur background. He won the Commonwealth gold medal back in 2010, and he's also coming off the biggest win of his career, and that was against Frank Buglioni back in March this year. He actually knocked out Buglioni in one round to win the British light heavyweight title, and he has actually accepted a shot at Artur Beterbiev and his IBF title. First and foremost, I think it's good news that we're going to finally see, or we're going to potentially see somebody fight Beterbiev, because he's been searching for an opponent for quite some time. Multiple people in the IBF rankings have turned him down, including the likes of Jürgen Bremer and Anthony Yard. These guys turned him down. And it got so bad that the IBF actually had to wait until the next month's rankings were released to be able to offer that fight to other guys, because all the guys in the rankings turned it down first time around. So, credit to Callum Johnson for taking or for accepting the fight. It's not made yet, it's not official yet, but Johnson has accepted the invitation. And that's good news, because I want to see Beterbiev stay active. And it's a fight, I've got to say, I expect him to win. But it's worth bearing in mind that Callum Johnson really has nothing to lose here. His career has actually suffered a little bit of a similar fate to Beterbiev in a sense, on a smaller scale of course, but Callum Johnson has had a career where he's been very unlucky with injuries, and that's obviously resulted in inactivity. Not only that, domestically, people are not exactly queuing up to fight this guy. Anthony Yard, he's not showing any sort of desire to fight Callum Johnson. But he wanted to fight the guy who he beat in Frank Buglioni, Callum Johnson has never really been able to get any sort of momentum in his career. So he has actually suffered a similar fate to Beterbiev, and obviously on a lower scale, like I said. Obviously Callum Johnson isn't as highly regarded as Beterbiev, but he's suffered a similar fate. And he would go into this fight with nothing to really lose. He'd be expected to lose. His ambition in his career was actually to win the British light heavyweight title, because I believe he promised his dad he'd win it. His dad obviously passed away, and he won that title. So he's achieved his dream. Anything from here, it's a bonus. He's got nothing to lose. And that sometimes makes for a very dangerous opponent, And also Callum Johnson, like I said, he's not a scrub. He can box a little bit. He's got a good amateur background. He can crack. He has good solid fundamentals. He can find his shots, he can counterpunch. Beterbiev has been hit, he has been down earlier on in his career. Maybe if the stars align and Callum Johnson could land a perfect sort of right hand on the chin, who knows what could happen. Callum Johnson has no reason to turn this fight down. He's accepted it, and he's got nothing to lose. And on the flip side, Beterbiev, he has everything to lose, because if he loses, he's lost to a nobody in a lot of people's eyes. If he wins and looks bad, he's been exposed, because he looks bad against a guy nobody's heard of. And if he blasts Callum Johnson out of there, they're going to say, well, yeah, he did what he had to do. So regardless, for Beterbiev, whatever happens, he's not really a winner here. He's not really a winner. And sometimes those type of fights are really hard to get yourself psyched up for. And potentially there could be a bit of a banana skin, I hope this fight happens. Obviously, I'd rather see Beterbiev unify and fight better guys. But no, these guys are not queuing up to fight him. And that's just what it is. So, Callum Johnson's a guy who has actually accepted. So, let's get it on. Hopefully it happens sooner rather than later. I've seen some people online saying Eddie Hearn shouldn't let this fight happen. Well, Callum Johnson's 32 years old. He's 17-0. He's just won the British title. He can't afford to be turning down world title shots at 32 years old, especially with his track record of injuries. He can't be turning down these opportunities. It's a golden opportunity, because if he wins, he changes his life forever. And he could be then fighting for big money. So Callum Johnson really has nothing to lose, because if he loses, which is expected, he can go back down to domestic level and still make some decent money. You know, maybe he could pursue an Anthony Yarde fight. He could pursue a fight with Hosea Burton. Or he could fight for European titles. You know, there'd still be some fights left for Callum Johnson if he loses. So yeah, I actually want to see this fight happen. And maybe he could pull off an upset. Would you be shocked if he landed a Hail Mary shot and actually done the job? I'm not expecting it, but it's not out of the realms of possibility. You know, Callum Johnson can punch. He's got good power. So it's worth taking, in my opinion. Callum Johnson is not a big ticket seller. He's not going to be a pay-per-view star, so these opportunities might not come again. So I'd imagine the people around him are going to tell him to take this fight. It makes a lot of sense on his part. What do you guys think of this potential fight? Peace.